Okay, I have a session with all my elements in. You can see that since I only have 2 dialogue tracks, I just hid all the others that I imported from the template. You could, if you don't need them, since this is only one scene, I don't really have any need for more. So just to make my setup more simple, I just hid everything that doesn't have an audio clip on it. So we have room tone, we have dialogue, we have Foley's, we have production effects, we have mono effects, we have atmospheres, and we do have a music track. I don't see it. Where's my music track? There. And we have a music track. One music track for this scene. And then we have the masters. Now these are the masters that imported from the template, which was a stereo template. And what we're doing is converting this session to a 5.1 session. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create master tracks like this, but instead of stereo, you want to create them as 5.1. So we're going to go to Track, New, and we're going to create 3 5.1 auxiliary inputs. So that's 3 5.1 auxiliary inputs. And then we're going to create track new 1 5.1 master fader. Okay, so this would be, first one we'll have DX master 5.1 FX master 5.1 MX music master 5.1, and then mix master. So we essentially duplicated the stereo masters as 5.1 masters. We also want to go and we're going to solo safe these tracks. You do this by holding down Command and clicking on the solo button. What that does is it allows you to solo a track but still be able to hear it through the master. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to reassign all of these tracks to their appropriate master. To reassign the outputs, we're going to use the mix window. It's a lot easier to see the outputs. So remember, inputs are on top, outputs are on bottom. And all we simply want to do is go to all the dialogue tracks, including the room tone, and send them to track dialogue master 5.1. Again, track dialogue master 5.1, track dialogue master 5.1, track dialogue master 5.1. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the effects. Now we have a lot of effects, and it'll take me forever to go individually and assign them. So here's a little trick. I'm going to shift select all of my effects. That would be the Foley's, the production effects, mono effects, and stereo effects, and the atmospheres. Once they're all selected, hold down the Shift key, then hold down Option. So you have to make sure they're both held down at the same time, and go to one of your tracks and change the output of that track. By holding down Shift and Option, it changes all of the tracks that are selected. So we're sending this to Effects Master 5.1. You'll notice all the tracks that were selected are now sent to the Effects Master 5.1. We'll go to our music track, our solitary music track, and we'll send that to the Music Master 5.1. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go and delete the stereo masters. Control click and choose delete. Okay, so now I have my dialogues, my effects, my music sent to my dialogue, effects, and music 5.1 master, which are being controlled by the Mix Master 5.1. So now that all of our tracks are assigned to 5.1 masters, let's take a look at how they're being sent to those masters. The way you can access the panner, which shows where sound is being sent, is if you click on this tiny fader here next to the name of the track. It brings up an output window. And this is what the output window looks like when you assign it to a 5.1 bus. You have 3 front speakers, left, center, right, and 2 surround speakers, left surround and right surround. This dot represents your sound, and where this dot is placed is going to send that sound to that particular speaker. You'll notice that all of your mono tracks, so room tones and dialogues, anything that's mono, automatically gets bused to the center speaker. And it's generally what you want for mono sounds in most cases. So room tone, dialogue, you very much want in the center. Foley, you very much want to the center. As we go down to some effects that we have here, we have phone vibrating. Probably would want that on the screen. However, we also have the small table fan. And that, we may decide we want to pan it over when we're doing our mix. If we take a look at stereo tracks, so our atmospheres are all in stereos, you'll notice you actually have 2 panner windows. One for your left channel, one for your right channel sound. So by default, it'll take the left and right and place it in the left and right speaker. This can be moved back to rear speakers. It could be moved to the center so they all appear in the center, although you wouldn't really want to do that, but you can do that. You can move them out so it actually swaps the stereo field. And that's the basic setup for 5.1. All your tracks are now bused to the 5.1 faders, which then is controlled by this 5.1 master. You'll notice there are 6 meters here. First meter left, center, right, left surround, right surround, and LFE, which is a low frequency effect channel. That's when you want to send bass sounds to the subwoofer for a certain effect, like an explosion or any impactful hit that you want the audience to feel as well as hear.